Welcome back to an exciting episode of Cyber Defense TV. I'm your host, Gary Malewski, and the publisher of Cyber Defense Magazine. Sitting in my hot seat is a very special guest today, Ottavio Ferreri. And guess what he is doing? This is the co-founder and CTO of an amazing company, SafeGuardCyber. It's in an area we've all forgotten. Everyone's focusing on email and packets and payload. There's an area we forgot about, and it is what?
Social media.
Social media. My Facebook account, my Twitter, my
All
LinkedIn. Keep going. What other places?
Thank you for having me on the show, Gary. So I wanted to start off there. We actually protect 50 plus channels. The definition of social and digital is forever growing. And it's a problem of transparency. Most organizations don't even know where all their digital assets are. But it is what you said, Facebook, LinkedIn, and Twitter, and WhatsApp, and WeChat, and Slack, which is going to have an amazing IPO, but also SharePoint that's moved to the cloud, and Skype that's moved to the cloud.
What's the common thread? That these are places that people communicate personally, and it's used for kind of business marketing and messaging, and blurred lines that it could be a personal account, it could be business accounts?
That's exactly right. Most organizations have transformed their front office. They collaborate with partners and customers on these channels. I'll give you, for instance, WhatsApp. That's exactly what you described, this strange gray area, which is you use WhatsApp personally, but you communicate with your customers also. So it is a business concern when you think that data loss could happen in those channels.
What kind of data loss?
Intellectual property, confidential information, in case of governments, classified information.
In those channels?
Absolutely.
So unwind this for us. Give us an example of a user, maybe their title or role, their behavior, and how some data leakage happened before SafeGuardCyber came on the scene.
Sure. Let me actually give you a couple that illustrate it. Give you, for instance, Operation Sharpshooter just happened beginning of this year. And 87 companies were targeted, and it all took place in LinkedIn. This was attributed to APT, so it's an evolution of an advanced persistent threat. They're now using social media to conduct corporate espionage. And what happened was they said, you would be a perfect employee for my fake company that has a fake website. And it started off by friending them on LinkedIn, so you didn't know, because digital identity in social media is just a very confusing thing. It's hard to say who's real and who's a fake.
Do you know the old cartoon from the early days of the internet? It's a picture of a dog on a keyboard. It says on the internet, nobody knows if
that's exactly true. So these employees, dealing with a very sophisticated attack, they were clever enough through LinkedIn to understand what their roles are and friended them, then proceeded through direct messages to conduct conversations. And in a DM, they sent a link to Dropbox. When you clicked on the link, it was like, oh, you'd be a great employee, and here's a form you need to fill out through your recruiting process. They clicked on the form that was on Dropbox, and
it was a zero-day malware, remote access Trojan.
That's exactly right. And
APT,
yes,
persistent threat.
And yes, and the intention was to conduct corporate espionage. So CISOs are having a hard time understanding that, and how do you protect? So we created this platform that can investigate and protect those employees from these types of attacks. The old is new again. Spear phishing is well documented in email. There's a lot of solutions there, but hackers know that. And they want to conduct it on new, unprotected channels. And LinkedIn, for example, is a great one to engineer these attacks on. And that's what our
brilliant. Brilliant. They're changing the attack vector from email phishing and deep sea phishing to social media phishing.
That's exactly right.
And I've never heard of a company that protects social media phishing until you and I sat down in the hot seat today. So tell me, how does SafeGuardCyber make itself aware of all the user accounts, and do they have to give you their password? Is there a central console that IT gets involved in? And then there's privacy issues where I say, well, it's my private Facebook. I don't really want to be involved in this, and an employee has to realize that it's to protect the company. So kind of show us how you get on the scene and how easy is it to deploy, and are there any privacy concerns?
Those are great questions. We run this process called the DAST, and the purpose of the DAST, the D, is to discover your footprint.
Mhm.
Often companies don't really understand the extent of their digital presence, so we map it all for you and say this is all the digital assets that you're conducting business on for all your brands globally.
How do you find that?
We have API access from the social networks that allow us to search and then bring that data into our cloud and then run analytics to say, these are true accounts, and these, by the way, are fake accounts impersonation.
So I could upload into your system my employee list of names. John Smith, VP of Sales, Jane Doe, VP of Marketing, maybe their emails. I mean, you have to have a kickoff to know who's who.
That's right. So the platform connects to LDAP or Active Directory, sends out an email to the employees and says, we would like to protect your social media presence from attacks. It's all opt-in to address your question about privacy. You enter your username and password. The social network sends us a token, so we don't actually hold any credentials from the user. And at that point on, we can now inspect all the people you're friending, the content to see if there's malware and malicious content inside, and indicators of compromise. Someone's trying to take over your account, for example.
This is brilliant, by the way.
Oh, thank you. So it's the work of a lot of people.
When did you come up with this idea?
We started in 2014. 2 years were business development and technology were really in stealth mode. But it really took the 2016 election to bring to the forefront that social media can manipulate it. When Russia took over Crimea and used these advanced social media techniques, in 14 is when we realized that new attack strategy was just going to go global. There was no stopping it. The genie was out of the bottle, and we started building the technology in the company then.
So we're looking at cyber criminals, nation states, hacktivists. I mean, it could be a whole group that now say, you know what, email's getting more and more secure. There's anti-phishing training and tools and deep sea phishing firewalls, we might say, or intrusion prevention in email now, where, I mean, I met a company that flattens everyone's email. So you're reading an image, a flattened image, so you can't click a link. I mean, there's all these cool ways to take care of email. But until I met you, nobody was talking about the social media angle. So social media is something we spend, I don't know, a third of our day in. It depends on who we are, right? Check your Twitter, add a little tweet, check your Facebook, spend time in LinkedIn. Maybe you're looking for a job, maybe you're tuning up your resume, maybe you just got a patent and you want to add it to your LinkedIn list of cool things. And, you know, I go skiing, I'll add that in. And so you're always kind of tweaking and tuning your social media environment, and in walks a new friend who's fake or someone who appears to be part of your company. And what do they want from you? They want your credentials, they want you to get infected. What are the bad guys doing through social media?
A series of, they have a series of motivations that lead them to attack through social media. We've seen just plain financial gain. For example, I will friend all your employees with my fake accounts, and then go to one of the administrators or the security team and say, I'm about to launch a disinformation campaign. It's going to show up on the feed of all your employees because all our bots are friends with them and your employees not only friended them, and it's X amount of Bitcoins. It's effectively ransomware in social.
How do you stop it so once you've got your API plugin and the token, you're not really spying on the user, you're just keeping an eye on what's happening within their social media that might appear to be an anomalous behavior?
That is correct.
Or a pattern that looks, you figured out the patterns.
That's exactly right. And we use advanced machine learning to indicate that. So we'll say, look, this person is really a bad actor. We're highly confident of this. Do not click on this link. We've quarantined it. It's a malicious link. It's spam, it's malware, it's a phishing attack. So now the users the employees and the digital team that runs or is responsible for these digital assets start to have some sort of insight on the security aspects of what they're doing, which is, there is no visibility before SafeGuardCyber was able to give companies that transparency.
Can anyone afford this? Is it good for an SMB or is it only for large enterprises? And how quickly can I deploy? It sounds like it's the email goes out, you've integrated with LDAP or Active Directory, and away we go. It's fast and easy.
It's fast. We can have companies up and running in 15 minutes, and it's for everyone. We have SMB customers, we have governments, we have politicians as customers, we have cities, we have high-tech firms. In fact, we have cybersecurity firms as customers because their technology that they built over 20, 30 years wasn't built for these new attacks. So even cybersecurity companies are protecting themselves using our technology.
That's awesome to hear. Is it a flat user pricing? Is it scaled pricing? Is it public pricing? And is it easy to sign up online? And how do you scale? Did you host in the cloud with, like Amazon or Microsoft or something?
Yeah, we have a massively scalable cloud. For example, recently we turned on 4,000 Slack users for an enterprise. And Slack, just as in social media, it's outside the perimeter. It has an inside-outside nature to it where you can have inbound posts from it that all employees can see, for example. But with only 4,000 employees, we're getting 80,000 messages a day.
Wow.
So you have to massively scale to analyze this content all real time, and time is important, and reaction time is more important as well. The platform is not just about saying there's a risk, it always does something.
So you've got detection time, response time, and exposure time. You're saying we want to reduce the exposure time as fast as we can, pop up the alert, block the employee from getting the fish turning into a ransomware or some remote access Trojan. You're real fast. Do you do this with your own SOC and a team? Is it part human, part AI? How do you do this?
It's a software-based company. It's done with AI and machine learning. And the nature of real time, there really is no time for, now we do have a SOC we analyze to see trends, but one of the biggest problems social media have been is some of these things took place last month, and security teams finally get around. You've been infected for 30 days when you realize that was the attack vector. The real-time nature of our platform, finding it using advanced techniques such as machine learning, and then the platform deciding what to do about it is a critical point.
Yeah, sounds great. Sounds like you are on the ball, you're visionary, you're moving forward in a space that nobody else had. So I want to thank you for a great hot seat interview.
Thank you, Gary.
Yeah, and what I'm going to tell our viewers and listeners, this is so important. We've every day looked at our emails and started to learn that there's a phishing attack, but we haven't even thought about our social media. And SafeGuardCyber is solving the most critical problem and the newest attack vector, social media. Take a look at their website, SafeGuardCyber.com. It sounds like all of us can afford the service, so I'm going to be signing up for it very soon.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you
and
so
we'll
much.
look forward to having you as a customer.
You got it. And come back again next time for an exciting episode of Cyber Defense TV. Thank you.